riding in all these Secret Service vehicles that I have ever used this. You're it, and you're not a target, so relax. It says you are a target, because if you will give Barack Obama at least 4 hours of volunteer work in the next 4 days, he'll give you 4 more years. Such short notice, and there's not enough room in there for everybody, but we had no idea you'd all show up. So, let me just say a couple things seriously to you that I hope you will say and do the next few days. In my part of America now, where Hillary and I live, you know, we've been hit pretty hard by this storm. New York's in terrible shape. Our daughter and son-in-law just had to evacuate their apartment building and move someplace else in the city. It may be a month before part of the city gets electric service back. We don't even know how we're going to make it possible for literally a few million people to vote on election day in New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. It's a challenging time, but it's a moving time. You see the president doing his job and people working together, and there's no Democrat or Republican way to deal with the flood. You either do it or you don't. And what I want to say to you is, America should work that way when there isn't a natural disaster. And this election basically is a choice between the president's philosophy that we're all in this together and you're on your own. Between building an economy from the middle class out and going right back to trickle down, which is failed with your people. Between making policy based on evidence and making policy based on ideology. And between a budget based on arithmetic or one based on learning. Here's what I want to suggest to people. First of all, look at Governor Romney's argument for election. Okay, we left him a mess, a terrible mess, and it should be all fixed in 4 years. The president, I want you to fire him, put us back in so we can do what we did.
I think she's in there so you can see.
And people will be so thrilled when the president who gets $12 million in the next 4 years. Is that the argument? Here's the problem. You need to make sure every single soul of you knows this. Number one, it may be just a coincidence. But a few days before Governor Romney made his $12 million promise, a very highly respected business forecaster called Moody's Analytics put out a report that said, in the next 4 years, we're going to get 12 million jobs because of what President Obama did. Therefore, Governor Romney's argument is amounts to, I want you to be very disappointed and put me in so I can take credit for the jobs that are coming as a result of the policies of Barack Obama that I oppose. And you need to make sure people know that. Second thing you need to make sure people know is that no person who's ever served as President of the United States could have repaired this much damage in 4 years. I ought to have enough credibility with you on jobs, on income, on budget deficit. I'm telling you, I have spent years studying it. I talked to the reigning expert in the world on financial crises, a Nobel Prize winning economist at Harvard named Kenneth Rogoff. I think he's an honor Republican. And he sent me his book. I read it. I read all the stuff on American twice, and I said, Ken, I told him, I said, is there any way we could have fully healed the economy in 4 years? He said, Lord, no. He said, most places that have been hurt this bad thing 10 years ago. I said, can we be 10 years? He said, yes, we can if we do the right thing. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. I think this whole election is going to boil down to what the American people believe in. But I'm telling you, I believe it, and I've been there. And I hear all these people say, well, I was so enthusiastic about President Obama last time, but I just don't think this time. There's nobody else. disappointed me. Let me tell you something. I did 40 events in the 2008 campaign. I worked hard for the president. We did an event with 38,000 people in Orlando, Florida. I am far more enthusiastic about his election this time than I was 4 years ago. Say the right thing and to be inspiring on the stump. And it's another thing to do the right thing in the right way, changes. Now he is a doer. And when you do, you get down and you fall in the dirt. And you try, and sometimes you fail, and you have to get up and try again. And people try to derail you. And they demean every one of your motives and everything else. You see it all. But if you just keep on doing, pretty soon you look around and in the last 32 months, since we stopped losing jobs from the crash, we got 5.3 million jobs. Twice as many as the Bush administration got in 7 years. Yeah, we have the biggest single-year drop in unemployment since 1995, my third year as president. This year. And we got a 4-year high in home starts and auto purchases. And we're growing manufacturing jobs for the first time since the 90s. And thanks to the automobile restructuring, 250,000 more of our fellow citizens are making a living making cars here in America who would not have jobs if Mitt Romney's policy had worked. One reason I'm for President Obama is his economic plan for the next 4 years is better. He says we got to build a 21st century economy, which means we have to invest in modern infrastructure, in science and technology, in clean energy, in the kind of manufacturing that generates 2.5 jobs outside manufacturing for every job we get here. In things that the universities can create jobs out of, with new ideas and new technologies. And I want to spend money on that, he says. And I want to educate people and train people, including non-college educated people who've lost their jobs. I want to train all people who are working to work for the jobs of the 21st century. Right now in America, we can fill 120,000 jobs a year for computer scientists, and we're only educating 40,000. Obama's got the right strategy. And he says we got to do something about the debt. So here's my plan. Simple arithmetic. $4 trillion reduction in the debt. $2.50 of spending cuts for every dollar of new revenue increases. Ask the people who are the wealthiest in America, who got the lion's share of the economic growth in the last decade and the lion's share of the tax cuts, just to pay what they did before when I was president, when they all did real well. And I know a lot about this too. I live in New York City. I know a lot of these people who are money campaigning against the president. And Obama's plan makes sense. Bring that down over 10 years as the economy comes up, but invest in the jobs first. Get us growing and train and educate people to do this. What's Romney's plan? Romney's plan is to cut taxes by $1 trillion. Only $1 trillion of which he can't make up for. You can cut the corporate tax and repeal the deductions and make it even. That's a good idea. The rest, see me about that after the election. And he wants to give the defense contractors $2 trillion that the Pentagon doesn't want. Because the Pentagon budgets the way everybody else do. Every 4 years they say, what are the security threats facing this country and what does it cost to meet them, and they build a budget from the ground up. Romney says, I don't think the generals know what they're talking about. They're going to be $2 trillion more whether they like it or not. It's unbelievable. So, the last time I checked, 7 minus 1 leaves $6 trillion unaccounted for. Now, the Republicans say that debt's the biggest problem in the world. If you lived on a farm and you had a big hole on your land, and you hired somebody to fill up that hole, and that person jumped out in the hole with a shovel and said, now before I start, I want to dig it deeper. You wouldn't unhire that person. this second debate in a kind of a sleight of hand way. What they'll have to do is to cut infrastructure investment, to cut research and development, to cut investments in alternative energy, to cut the things that will build up the 21st century economy. And it will hurt. They will have to cut education and cut training. It will hurt. In Wisconsin, it means fewer windmills, less solar energy, less biofuels, less support for new forms of farming that will feed all these people that are growing in the world that need good farming and need good farming practices and therefore need agricultural research. Forget about it. Everything will be sacrificed to give me another tax cut. If you think that's the right thing, by all means, go be for it. If not, go out there and make sure Barack Obama is re-elected president. Sandy Baldwin's locked in a tight race in the Senate. Who runs the Senate makes a difference. You want somebody who believes in shared prosperity, not trickle down, somebody who believes in evidence, not ideology. You want somebody who's not part of the Washington crowd, where influence peddling counts more than what's good for the folks back home. And you don't want anybody repealing this health care bill. If it needs to be fixed, we can fix it a little bit, but it's way better than the system we've got. We've already got over $1 billion in refunds. You've got the smallest increase in health care prices in 50 years. You've got 30 million people about to get health insurance for the first time, and 3 million young people between 19 and 25 already insured for the first time. And this charge that they're making against Tammy and President Obama on Medicare is a big load of bull. It's just like Romney and the defense contractor. Romney doesn't want to put $716 million back into Medicare. Heck, Ryan took it on his Sunday too. They're attacking Obama and Tammy for supporting what Paul Ryan was for. Back when he could still look at a few numbers.
I love you, Bill!
But, supported the Medicare savings that President Obama enacted, that Tammy supported, because it adds 8 years to the life of the Medicare Trust Fund, and it keeps them from voucherizing it as quick as they want to, and because they didn't need the money to fund the Medicare Advantage program. It's purely Governor Romney saying, I'm going to give those subsidies back to the insurance companies whether they need it or not. So, you just got to decide, folks. The last thing I'd like to say, since my wife is one of the only 2 people in the county who can he has been a good and responsible commander-in-chief. He ended the war in Iraq as he said he would. He is bringing them home from Afghanistan, and most important, he is committed to taking care of the men and women who serve when they come back to the United States. If the American people understand, and nobody could have fixed it all, if they understand that objective business people say we're going to get 12 million jobs based on what Obama's already done, they will then say, well, let him build on it. Don't elect the other guy who won't even show us the budget. So he can claim credit for what's going to happen anyway. This is a clear choice. We need Wisconsin. We need Tammy Baldwin.